everyone, and welcome to card number 3. So I'm starting off with this My Favorite Things Sheltering Tree and Leaf Trio die set. And I'm using the tree die and a piece of brown cardstock and running it through my Big Shot. I've got all the platforms closed, and then just running the die through face down, which usually they recommend face up, but I always do mine face down, just habit. Anyway, ran it through, didn't need any mats or any other things, just the Big Shot as is, and it cuts the die, and then the die itself has a wood grain embossing part to it, so it just embossed the wood grain also. You'll see that like in more detail later and at the pictures in the end. And then I used some wool felt for the leaves. I get my wool felt from Bear Dance Crafts. I talked about it a long time ago in one of my older videos, like a couple years ago, I think. I will have a link to it with all my other links, but just note that that site's located in Canada. They ship to Canada and the US, I think. I don't know if they ship internationally, but you can find wool felt at so many other places. But anyway, I ran it through the Big Shot. I used a piece of scrap cardstock underneath just to make sure it cut through cleanly, and it did. And I actually did this multiple times. I just didn't bother filming it because that's just boring. But I ran it through multiple times using 2 different colors of green felt. So I have 2 different shades of green leaves. So, and I personally prefer wool felt. It cuts way better than like the really cheap acrylic felt you can find at like Michael's and Walmart. Wool felt, huge difference. And I show that in that old video. If you look it up, wool felt, it's called like wool felt comparison to acrylic or something like that. Anywho, so for the card base, I'm using CC Designs, the Copa Quality 110-pound cardstock. And then I grabbed this piece of, I think this is Soft Sky from Stampin' Up, this pale blue. And if it is a Soft Sky, I just grabbed it from my scrap drawer. They retired it forever ago or not too long ago. I have no idea. But anyway, it was in my scrap drawer. So I stamped the sentiment. This one's from my All About Dad set with the VersaFine Onyx Black ink. And then I used my Modern Label Punch to punch it out. And then I kind of lined it up how I wanted on my card. This is going to be a super simple card itself, like no layering. I want the focus to be just the tree and then the sentiment. So I chose the father sentiment from this set. And again, I'm going to ink it up with the VersaFine Onyx Black, but I'm going to use my stamp positioner so that I get it lined up on my card perfectly. Because again, when it's clean and simple like this, you want to kind of get things perfect before you finish the card itself. So that's why I'm doing the sentiments first before I go to all the work of adhering everything and then wreck my card. Because, you know, I can do that quite easily. So I use my stamp positioner to line up the father sentiment. This would also work really great. I have the in-law addition to the father sentiment, so you could do father-in-law if you wanted. So yeah, once I've got that stamped, I'm going to adhere the tree. I'm just using some Tombow Mono Multi adhesive. Just a very small amount so that it doesn't ooze out the sides. And then adhere that in the middle of my card. Super simple. And then the sentiment that I punched out, I'm also going to adhere that, which is Tombow Mono Multi. I thought for a second about using dimensionals, but I just didn't want that popped up too high since the felt is going to come out quite a bit anyway. So got that how I wanted. And if you notice too, I'm doing, sorry, I cannot talk this morning, good lord. I'm filming this all in real time. Usually my videos are sped up 150, 200% just to fit everything into a decent time. Otherwise my videos would be forever long. But this time I thought I'd just show it all in real time rather than sped up. So yeah, to adhere the leaves, I'm just using a hot glue gun, just a mini glue gun. I picked it up at Walmart years ago for like $5 with the little mini glue sticks. I find when adhering felt, especially to cards, like hot glue is the way to go. Liquid glue doesn't work very well. Other adhesives take too long, make too much of a mess. So yeah, hot glue is the way to go. It actually didn't take very long. The only pain is the little strings of adhesive, but I just kind of lightly rub my fingers around the card and pull those off, and it wasn't too bad. So got that all done, and that's just the end of the card front. So for the inside, thought I'd kind of keep the theme going, so I die cut another tree from the brown cardstock. And then I am using the Happy Father's Day sentiment from the All About Dad set. And again, using my stamp positioner. So I'm going to stamp this along the bottom of the inside of the card, and I want to make sure I get it straight. So I already have an idea of how I want the inside tree to go. It's going to go along the edge. So then line up the sentiment first. before I adhere anything again, just to make sure I get it right. So I get that lined up and I just move the tree out of the way, use my positioner so that I get it stamped perfectly, and then re-ink the sentiment again and stamp it, and that's all there was to that. So perfect. And then for the tree, I'm only going to add the glue on one side of it, just like so, and then I'm going to adhere it down to the inside of the card with some of it kind of hanging over there, which is a little hard to do on camera. My arm's like at a really weird angle because otherwise you wouldn't see anything. So once I've got that adhered, I'm going to flip the card over and just using my scissors and the edge of the card itself as my guide, I'm just going to use scissors to trim off all that excess die cut tree. So you just go slow and easy so you don't actually cut into the card base and make it crooked. And just trim that off, and then that part's garbage. So yeah, I've got a tree on the inside of my card, and then I just die cut some leaves from some Stampin' Up! Lucky Limeade cardstock that I had sitting on my desk. It was pretty close to the felt actually. And I chose cardstock for the inside rather than felt because I didn't want the inside to be really bulky. So just adhered those into place, and that's all there was to it. So there'll be a link to my blog post with links to the supplies used as always right below the video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!